how's Tupac number one when he needed help on that record?
In the unforgiving world of 90s hip-hop, where rivalries and beef were part of the game, the tension between Tupac Shakur and O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube, stands out. These two West Coast legends shaped the rap scene with their powerful lyrics and unique styles. But behind the music was a simmering tension that few talked about openly. Why did Ice Cube supposedly have a problem with Tupac? This video explores their rivalries, personal grudges, and the ideological differences that fueled their relationship. Ice Cube came up from the streets of South Central LA. His lyrics were like a Molotov cocktail, exploding with tales of gang life, police brutality, and raw street realities. Cube's hardcore style and no bullshit attitude made him a heavyweight in the rap game. Tupac, on the other hand, had a different hustle. Starting as a backup dancer for Digital Underground, he quickly flipped the script, dropping tracks that mixed gangsta vibes with poetic reflections. Tupac's music was a blend of street knowledge and soul-bearing honesty, a mix that connected with the masses on a deep level. Ice Cube and Tupac Shakur were always on a collision course. Ice Cube, a certified street legend with a track record of keeping it raw and real, couldn't help but scowl as Tupac's star rocketed to prominence. Tupac's meteoric rise wasn't just a new player making noise. It was a direct threat to Cube's established reign. In the cutthroat world of hip-hop, where respect is hard-won and quickly contested, there's no room for two top dogs fighting for the same piece of the pie. Cube's beef with Tupac went way beyond basic rivalry. It was about authenticity and street cred. Ice Cube prided himself on being the realest in the game, laying down brutal, unfiltered truths about life in the streets and the struggle against systemic oppression. His lyrics were like a raw nerve, exposing the harsh realities of the hood without any sugarcoating. Tupac, on the other hand, was a different beast altogether. He combined hardcore gangsta bravado with deep, introspective reflections that spoke to personal pain and societal issues. To Cube, this blend was more than just a stylistic choice. It was a contradiction that messed with his whole idea of what real rap should be. While Tupac was out here mixing street toughness with heartfelt vulnerability, Cube saw it as a weak attempt to soften the edges of a genre that was built on raw, unadulterated street tales. In his eyes, Tupac's approach was a sellout move that challenged the gritty authenticity Cube had spent years building his reputation on. The beef between Ice Cube and Tupac Shakur went way beyond music. Personal slights and street politics were at the core of their clash. A major flashpoint was Tupac's tight connection with Dr. Dre, a former NWA comrade who had serious beef with Cube. After Cube bounced from NWA over money issues and personal drama, his relationship with Dre went south. So when Tupac started rolling with Dre and Death Row, it was like rubbing salt in an open wound for Cube. Tupac's move to Death Row, run by the infamous Suge Knight, was seen as a power play in the rap game. Death Row wasn't just a label, it was a fortress with a reputation for getting things done and protecting its artists. For Ice Cube, this wasn't just a career move, it was a straight-up sellout. Cube had always prided himself on his independence and his refusal to bow to the industry's heavyweights. He saw Tupac's alliance with Suge Knight and Dre as a betrayal, a sellout move that clashed with Cube's own hard-earned reputation. To Cube, Tupac's choices weren't just strategic, they were a public smack in the face to the principles Cube had spent years defending. In the cutthroat streets of hip-hop, where loyalty and street cred mean everything, Tupac's decisions looked like a blatant compromise of authenticity. For Ice Cube, it wasn't just about losing a rival. It was about seeing someone he considered a fellow street soldier turn his back on the values Cube held dear. This wasn't just a personal feud. It was a full-blown declaration of differing values, a showdown over what it really meant to stay true to the streets. Beyond the personal grudges, the clash between Ice Cube and Tupac Shakur was a street-level war over what they each represented. Ice Cube's music was more than just tracks. It was a loudspeaker for social change, a fierce shout against systemic oppression and the struggles of life in the hood. Cube's lyrics cut deep, laying bare the harsh realities and frustrations of the Black experience, and he became the voice of the voiceless, speaking up for those who were ignored by society. Tupac, meanwhile, also tackled social issues, but his approach was different. He mixed street tales with poetic introspection, blending hardcore gangster talk with a deep philosophical touch. Tupac was known for his complex persona, a street warrior with a heart, a gangster who could drop wisdom and reflect on life's bigger picture. This duality made him a more complicated figure who didn't fit neatly into the typical gangsta rap mold. To Ice Cube, Tupac's style seemed like a compromise. Cube saw Tupac's mix of street bravado and emotional depth as a watered-down version of the raw, unfiltered street reality Cube was all about. While Tupac's way of blending toughness with introspection connected with many fans and offered something new to rap, Cube viewed it as a betrayal of the hardcore ethos he had always represented. The media went wild with the beef between Ice Cube and Tupac Shakur. Back in the 90s, hip-hop journalism thrived on drama, turning every feud into a blockbuster street saga. Every diss track and public jab was amplified, feeding the story of a bitter, ongoing clash. Magazines, radio shows, and TV programs jumped on the rivalry, turning Ice Cube and Tupac into larger-than-life figures, battling it out in a rap coliseum. They weren't just covering the beef, they were cranking up the volume, turning every little spat into a headline and every slight into a full-blown scandal. The media's constant spotlight didn't just keep the feud alive, it turned it into a spectacle. The more the drama was pushed, the fiercer the rivalry got. It wasn't just about who had the toughest lyrics or the realest street cred. It became a media circus, a relentless show where every move and every word was scrutinized. With the spotlight so intense, making peace seemed out of the question. The beef became a public spectacle, a street-level drama that played out for millions, leaving no space for resolution. In the years since Tupac's tragic death in 1996, the nature of his relationship with Ice Cube has been the subject of much reflection. Ice Cube has occasionally opened up about their differences, but he's also given props to Tupac's talent and influence.
Tupac emerged as, one hell of a artist, and songs like "Dear Mama,"
Powerful.
It's like too.
Life goes on.
Yeah, it's starting to put it together.
Time has allowed a more nuanced view of their rivalry, one that acknowledges both the tension and the mutual respect underlying their interactions. The beef between Ice Cube and Tupac is a reminder of the fierce competition and deep personal conflicts that define the music industry. Their story is a testament to two legendary figures whose paths crossed in ways that were as contentious as they were creative. As fans and historians continue to dissect their legacies, the feud between Cube and Tupac stands as a symbol of the raw, unfiltered nature of hip-hop culture.